Good evening. You are welcome to Crystal Data Concept Excel online class teaching. This is your very first day, your day one of the class. I welcome you to this important lesson. If you have never engaged in Excel before, I say welcome on board. And if you have been using Excel for some time now, I also welcome you, and I want to tell you that you are all going to have a jolly good ride. We are going to start from the most simplest form of what we can do with Excel to the complex application of Excel. All you need to do is to pay careful attention, practice whatever the instruction is given, and ensure that you are up to date, and in no time we'll all catch up and we'll be happy with it. So in today's class, my principal assignment is to guide you on the important tools that are available in Excel. And without wasting much time, we want to start. So let me quickly open up an Excel from this environment, and we'll catch up with whatever we are missing. So I just click on a blank worksheet. When I click on it, it brings me to Excel environment. This is Excel environment. Well, depending on the window you are using and the office you are using, you may not see exactly what is on the screen, but everything or almost everything that is in one screen will be applicable to another. So we start from here. Unlike other tools of application we are going to be using for a data science class or a data analytic class, Excel is the one that almost is easy to start with because the functionalities are already embedded in your laptop, depending on which laptop you are using. I am using HP laptop Core i7. But I will always strongly advise that whenever you want to start with a computer, desktop, or laptop, as the case may be, ensure that your laptop is 64 bytes. The reason is that the capability of its working potentiality will be guaranteed with 64 bytes. Don't go for 32 bytes, please. Now for your gig RAM, most times I will advise that the minimum you use should be 8 gig RAM. 8 gig RAM when you buy the laptop, depending on whether it is bought newly in in the laptop or IT shop, or you acquire it a fairly used laptop, doesn't matter. Ensure that it will start with 4 gig RAM, improve it to 8 gig RAM in a minimum, or take it as far as 16 gig RAM or even 20 gig RAM. It will help the running, the speeding up of your system. It makes it to run faster and to open up easily. So these are two important things I will always like you to have in mind when you are trying to purchase a computer. The other one, the processors, are not too much of a challenge for our work. Having said that, I go back to my Excel dashboard. When you look at the topmost, we have some compartments here. The topmost compartment, you have another ribbon line. I will have yet some under, and the platform that we are going to engage in our work all together, as well back as even the down part of our work. All of them will be explained, for the fact that we assume that you are using Excel for the first time, and if you have used it before, just simply sit down and enjoy the class. So this is our file, this save file. This is where we can click to save our work. When you click on this, if we are finished whatever you are doing in Excel, which is always good, so that we don't miss or lose your work, Remember, it takes a lot of effort to build an important work. So when it is not saved, everything is wasted and you have to start afresh. So for you to avoid that, always ensure that you go to save, and when you go to save, you can able to save your work. And the next one here is telling you, the arrow is pointing back, telling you is in case you have taken some important steps and those steps are you don't like it, you can always click on this arrow back and it take you back to one step backward where you were before you got to that step. So it helps you to continue in a new path if the previous path was not good. Then we also have another one that is going forward. Assuming you are in between, you can always go back to look at what you have done. So this one is telling you that you can't undo, and this is telling you that you can always look at your customized access toolbar. This is, we'll get to that as we continue in our work. This place gives you the name of your work. Remember, I just opened this just few minutes ago. I have not saved it, so it is just appearing as book 1 and it's an Excel file from default. So once I populate it by saving and saving as something, giving it a name, that name will automatically appear on this top to guide us as we continue to work on our system. So this is for search, and anytime you don't understand anything, just hover your cursor over it and Microsoft and the Excel will give you what it means and how to operate it. For instance, this is saying this is Microsoft search. You can always go to search if you don't want to follow this part by clicking on your laptop keyboard, the Alt and plus Q, and when you click on it, it will still take you to the search. So it says start typing here to bring features to your fingertips and you get help. You want to get more of the gist, you can always click on tell me more. When you click on this tell me more, it will give you more insight about what you are looking for. Okay, so this will display your name as saved in your account profile. Sometimes your picture may appear here, and for this is ribbon display option. If you don't want some ribbon to display, by the time you click on this, the ribbon that you don't want to display will quickly close up. You don't see all this ribbon appear, but when you leave it like this, the ribbon stays the way it is. Like I've always been saying in my classes, do not monkey around. Know your step so that you can easily trace it back in the case of challenge. So we're not going to touch on this ribbon option now, so that we obey that simple rule. Now this is your minimize. When you want to reduce or you want to work on something else, you can click on minimize and you can go and do other things. And this is maximize. When you are in a minimize section, outside of it you can see too we have some display here. For instance, you want to do other work outside of what you are doing, or for instance you want to place Excel side by side with Microsoft Word. Maybe you are picking some vital information and you are working on Excel to see how it will look. Now you see you can divide this our screen into two by using this platform. Now this is asking you where do you want to place the present one. If you click on here, it will not divide and leave the space for you by the left. You keeping what you are having already by the left, so you can bring something else and put on the right, such that you will be seeing two different platforms at the same time. And this one is showing you equal division, dividing the screen by half, dividing the screen by half. And also this one tells you that you are taking more portion to the left than to the right. Then this option allows you to display the screen by 3, dividing by half, and another one by half, and this allows you to do 4 things at a time. So all these are possible within the Excel environment. And when you want to move a complete or remove here or close the work, you can close it here, but make sure you have saved. Even when you have not saved and you click on close, it will appear to give you the option to save your work or to discard. Maybe if just for practice, you just want to see something, you can be able to discard at that particular point. So having said that, I now go to our ribbon. If you look critically, you see that our file is on the green color is on file. It's telling us that whatever we are seeing here now, this is the starting point, our file. So we'll be going to our file shortly, but I would like to tell you what else other things we have on this ribbon. Then we'll go to our file and have a lot of things to say there. Then we'll come back and continue. So you can see that we have the home ribbon. You can see that this green line, there's an underlined green line telling us where we are, that we are on the home front. The next one is WPS PDF. This is made possible because I enabled WPS Office to work within my Excel environment. That is why WPS is appearing here. Otherwise, after home, you will see insert. Your own will show insert. Then this drawer was also brought in by me. It is not always there as a default setting. Then we'll have page layout. We have formulas. We have data ribbon. We have review view. Developer was also brought in. It is help. Inquire was also brought in. Power pivot among and tab was brought in. That I will also show us when the time comes on how you can bring in some of these specialized and customized functionalities of ribbon into your work for efficiency and effective work display. So having said that, let me just go to the file and open up file. Now when you click on the file, it will take us back to where we started originally, and now you can see that we are still on the home page, but this time we are looking at the back end of Excel where we have our file. So there we have the option of new and open. New is you want to open a new page, and you can see the same new appearing here, and it's telling you blank. Other ones may have other options, customized option that one can take, that when you look at it you see more template. Assuming I don't want to only see this blank workbook, I can come over here and click either here or the arrow, and it will give me other customized template which I can use. These ones have already been prepared and arranged by Excel. So your company, you can use it for your company. This is billing statement, a kind of billing statement Excel sheet prepared. We have blood pressure tracker. We have expenses report. So these ones you can bring them up and you fill it, and they've already made the necessary work for us and make our work easy. You can even go online to search for more template online to suit what you really want to do in specifics. So it is possible using the Excel environment. So secondly, if I also want to look at previously saved work, I can go to open. For instance, when I click on open, you see the open file gives me a new possibility. Now you see we have recent, and this is showing us recent work. Then you can also go personal work you have saved online, and this work was saved under this my email address. So I want to see what do I have online that and Excel is sharing with me, just like the bigger server up in the cloud that Excel operate for his computer. See, I can be able to go and see what and what that is available there. Now there's all other locations where my file can also be located, and you can see we have three of them here. We have this PC, which is the laptop we're working presently with, or add a place. If there's a place you desire to have your work done, maybe not in this OneDrive, maybe it is stored in Amazon cloud, for instance. You can be able to add those places here and when you are online and you click, it will take you there and bring whatever you want to do, and you work with it. Or you can browse your places. So browsing your places can take you to wherever you want to bring it down. But if it's on this PC, you click on this PC, for instance, you see it will take you to the our PC directly, and you can see the different files that are available, that you can check to see if your work is there. But most time when you want to work, and if you look up to, you see we have documents, and we have new folder. This one is showing us now on document CDC custom office template amongst others. And when you click on new folder, for instance, it will now ask you want to create a new folder, which we're not doing now. You can close this now. But if you want to browse, and when you quickly click on browse, it will take you into your file environment in your laptop. So you can be able to look at your file environment and check where your file is, wherever your file is situated. If you don't like it, if it's not on the desktop, you can look for it elsewhere. You can look for it on the download. You can go to your local disk or open it up, and wherever it is, you can open it. And once you have clicked the file, for instance, if I decided to open my local disk, and I go to my user, and I go to my workspace, just to search for, maybe for instance, where my file is, and I click on my data set, where my data sets are kept, I can open up my CSV file, which I will also explain later what CSV file means. I can also maybe pick, for instance, this particular CSV file, open it up, and see there's no CSV on this. I'll close it. I will maybe go to, because we are working on Excel, you cannot see a CSV file, so you go to XLS file. These are Excel file, and when you open, you see a lot of files are available for me, because this is an Excel environment. I'll say, okay, let me just pick the Irish file, or let me just pick online retail, or let me pick sample super data. When you pick it, for instance, it will populate. Because I've clicked on it, it will populate. I may enable editing, or I may not, depending on how I feel my work should be. So if you enable editing, the work will come. Enable content is telling you it must have some security features. If you are sure of what you are doing, you can also enable content. But this is not where we are. We go back to our file. Remember, we are here when we wanted to open up a file. So this is what you can do when you are opening up a file. Remember, the work I am teaching now is something you can sit down and watch over and over again as a beginner, to put you abreast on how Excel works, and as you follow my footsteps, you will not miss a step. So this is how you can open up a worksheet. Sometimes you can click on a blank workbook, assuming you want to start afresh, just as I did. As we are opening, as we're starting the work, I just click on a blank worksheet, and it brought me into the Excel environment. Having said that, you can see there's a mark here telling you that you have entered into another paradigm as it relates to the file in our Excel sheet. So the next thing is the info. What is the info all about? It is giving us basic information as regards to Excel. So how do you know that? To go to info and click on info, you can see a lot of information that is coming up. Remember, I clicked on sample superstore, so the information mostly coming will be linked to sample superstore. But outside of that, you also have information that has to do with the computer completely. So for the sample superstore, it is telling you this is the location of this file. It is under C, which is local drive C. Now it is under user. It is under user. Um, then it's going to Jude Ilobolu, that is the name. We have this and public. Now it is saved under the CDC file, CDC folder, and it can see it also under the data set. Data set is where it was kept. Then it is finally located under the XLSX file. That is how the file, this is a part of this, it's called the part of the file, the part. This file locates where it is existing completely. So I can either upload this, I can either share it or copy this part or open file location. You can copy this part. For instance, if I am working on other works, maybe other applications, for instance Python, I can copy this part and place it on Python, and I run it, and Python will take me exactly straight to where this work is. Now you can see we have some important functionalities that are attached to info. One of them is the convert. You can convert our work. The compatibility mode says some new features are disabled to prevent problem when working with previous version of Office. Converting this file will enable these features, but may result in layout changes. So it's telling you that sometimes when you bring file, you can be able to convert it from one mode to another. For instance, you can convert Excel file to CSV file, or you can even convert this Excel file to a modern Excel file. But you must know that sometimes some features may not work very well. So these warnings are given so that you know where you are headed, so that not after you have finished working, you discover that some basic information or your work is not going as you expected. Remember, we have a pro expectation when we work, where we want to see direction of our work, and when we're not seeing it, we know that sometimes it must have happened that there's changes in the work in the future. So you need to observe such. So when you want to maybe use it the way it is, but to be sure that you must have given it the express permission before you can use it. Now we also have protect workbook. Sometimes when you are reading and you see this small arrow, always open it to see what is there. So remember, we're talking about let me close it again and open it. Say always open read only. If it is showing this barrow sign with this red line, that means your work is only on read only and nothing more. Another one is encrypted with password, so it will require password to open. Another one is protect current sheet, protect workbook structure, restrict area, and then add a digital signature. Some of these are how you can protect your work. Remember, your work belongs to you, and if you have done a special piece that needs to be given some important recognition, you don't just release it anyhow. If you put some levels of security to it, it will attract people seeking permission from you before they use your work. Or if you are working in a group and you don't want your work to be altered, some people are very dubious and wicked in nature, we can't deny that. So, and sometimes others are careless and nonchalant. So for you to protect your work from this carelessness or this dubiousness, it is good for you to put some security protection. But remember, every step you take, you must know how to retrace it. Because if you are putting a security password or security outfit or layer and you have forgotten how it was created, it will become problem even to you that created it. So if you are to create and you forget, it's better you don't create at all. So you say it control what type of changes people can make to this workbook. That is what is it. So you are the owner, you control what happens there. The next one is check for issues. So let's open the little arrow again and see. So you say inspect document. First of all, check the workbook for hidden properties or personal information. So information are there. Sometimes you may bring in a file. Those files are read only, for instance. But if you have not checked and you want to use it for work, you will never get anything until you are be able to see it and you change that property setting. Then you can be able to have accessibility to it. Okay, so also say check accessibility. Check the workbook for content that people with disabilities might find difficult to read. Then check compatibility, check for the features not supported by earlier version of Excel. Remember, in the earlier version, there is some workings that present version have the ability to manipulate, which the earlier versions that are rigid in nature cannot be able to do. So this is part of what you should be able to do as a professional Excel user. Then you can also manage the workbook. How do you do that? So open up again, say browse recent unsaved file. So you can also set it such that when files are not saved, you don't completely lose them. There will be a pathway for you to go back and save, because remember, a lot of effort must have been put into the work, and if you don't save properly and the work is wasted or discarded, you have to take a lot of time and effort to start afresh. Believe me, it is not easy. So also see some things like the properties. So you say advanced properties, see more documents of properties. So these properties now is talking about the work which we have here. This is the size of the work, 3.20 MB. So it asks you to add title. You can add title to the work. So anytime anybody is picking the work, that title will be appearing. You can also tag and add categories. These are what you can do. Remember, I say this particular place is the back end of the work. So whatever you have set here, we advance or display in the front end. So have related data, date last modified. This was the date it was last modified on the 14th of April 2017 by this time, and when it was created was on 8th of November 2014. Sorry, and this data you're seeing was just acquired by me not long ago. So but this is how you can understand the pathway, the history of whatever you are working with. So related author, it is the owner of this work, Clara Seeger. It shows that even the work does not originate from this particular crystal data concept. It is owned by Clara Seeger. You can even give the owner a call, or you can send a message amongst whatever. It will get to the owner of that work. So last modify, you can see it was last modified by Sarah Spark, and that last modifier is this date. So these are how work are done to protect integrity of work. So related documents amongst others. Assuming this sample superstore data is not there, all you'll be seeing is just simple information that have to do with just this environment. So let's see if I can clean up the sample superstore data and see what will become of our work. Now I've come back to the original work. Let's go back again to the file and go to information again and see. I see now we have removed that sample superstore data. We have explained some of this. Let's just concentrate on this side. You see that this is the last modify, because I have come back to this work which have not been done. We have not done anything on this work. It's just a blank file. Remember the other one, I brought in sample superstore data, and you can see that the related people, now this is the author. Now my name is appearing here. You can also give me a call if you so wish. Okay, and last modified by me, all as there, and you can see the last modify is today, and the time that I touched it earlier and the time it was created is also given there. So it's just like that. So this is the information section of the Excel platform. Now you go to save. So when you want to save work, we don't have two aspects here. One is save, the other is save as. When you save, you just click on save. The save will just take your work to a particular place. Most time it will take it to desktop, other time will take it to document. So once you go to desktop or you go to document, you will see files work that were saved. Remember, they were not saved to a particular folder, they were not saved to a particular pathway, they were saved arbitrarily. Maybe you are just saving, later you now come and arrange your work. It will just be either on your document folder, or it will be on your desktop folder, depending on how you have set it from the back end. But when you want to save and you save. This is save. This is save, and this is save as. When you come to save as, you want to save your work as, it will take you to the pathway which you have gone before. Either you go through the browsing, for instance, you come to browsing, for instance, see showing book 1 here, and I can go to desktop, to my local drive, the same pathway I followed before. I can go to user, I can go to my name, then I go to CDC work that is saved under hard drive. For instance, I can also go to data sets, and I can go to XLS and drop this work here. I can now call it maybe CDC Excel practice. Okay, so once we have done that, the next thing, if you look down here, you see that it's under Excel workbook. That is where to be saved. Peradventure, you are too curious, you can open here and you can see the work can be saved as any other file. You can save it as an Excel file, you can save it as SL data file, you can save it as CSV, Macintosh, or PDF. Anything you want to save can be saved, but it's not saving that is the problem, but saving appropriately. And to save appropriately, we leave it as where it was, and we just leave it as a Excel workbook the way it was, and you click on save. So once you have clicked on save, you come back here, see it has been saved as CDC Excel practice as already saved now, and it is now a saved work. So the only thing you do as you are working, you'll be saving so that your work will be updated. If not, if for instance your laptop happens to close up or something happens, it will end at the last save that you did. Maybe you have worked after 20 minutes of work, but you did not save. The previous time when it elapsed is where the working will be saved. The remaining 20 minutes will be a work that you need to repeat. So let's go back again. So you can also export your work. You can export it to WPS or PDF, as the case may be. You want to export, you come here, to give you the option. This is showing because I have installed WPS to my work and it's a PDF file. So it's telling you current sheet or all sheet. If you want, you can do start, which I'm not doing now. So if not, you can also give you other options if your work is not saved to WPS file. You can also print your work. The setting for the work is there. How many copies do you want? The arrangement is there. Are you putting it under A4, portrait, whatever size you want? This A4, this A5, this A3, depending on size. Is it laptop? Whatever you want is applicable here. You can get it. Even more sizes are there. Then the margin is also set. You are checking if you are saving it under landscape or under portrait. It's also there amongst others. So whatever you want to see is also there in your settings. You set whatever you want, and once you are finished, you set up your printer. You can print directly from your laptop. Look at the orientation, look at the size, normal margin within size. This orientation is portrait. You can see landscape too, so anyone you want you can do. So after that, you can able to set off and print out this work. You can also share your work. You can share your work. Remember, we saw OneDrive showing you that if your work is connected to internet, you can share it. You can share also through the email, or send instant message, or share with people who are also using similar work with you. So this is the step to share with people. Step 1, save your document to a OneDrive location first. Then second step is to share your document. We'll do this after you have finished saving. So after you save to cloud, which is owned by the Excel or Microsoft company, you can go ahead to do what? To share your work. So the next one is export. Export is taking the work to somewhere else. It can be done through the creation of your PDF or SPS document, and you can also change the file type. So this is the procedure to create this. You preserve layout, formatting, and the rest. Everything is intact. When you're using PDF, your work does not shift. The way you want it is how you see it. So when you finish, you can now create a PDF document and you can now export it. You can also close your work from here. If you have finished whatever you feel that you are doing and you're okay with it, you can close your work here. So this is another paradigm that we have just finished. Now we have the last paradigm, which is another important aspect and just very important in our back end as far as Excel setup is concerned. So we'll go ahead to click on the account. When you look at the account, you see some basic settings that you see in your work. You see it under account. See user information. Whatever you're using, you can, and using it under a particular email address. I may have many email address, but the particular one you have set up for it was displayed here. You can sign in and sign out. You can also switch account, assuming you no more want to see this account and you have other accounts that you now dedicating for your Excel work in the cloud. You can always switch the account here. You can, this is your account privacy. You can manage your setting. Whatever you want to see, when you click on it, you can able to set it to suit what you want. You know, Excel is a multi-purpose, user-friendly platform interface that accommodates a lot of users. So you put it according to how you want to see it, and it works for you that way. Now we have a office background. Like now you can see here that I have some little displays of stars here. This setting was done from here. I don't want that star. I can come here and say give me lunchbox, or give me school supply, or give me cloud, or give me straw. Whatever you want is what you will see there. So once you have finished it, you click on save, it will be there. Then we also have our office theme. Office theme describe the kind of background you want to see in your work. Right now our work is set on white. Some will like black, some will like the gray. So for instance, if you put it on black, you see that our theme has turned to black. And then when you come back here again and change it to dark gray, you see it has become dark gray. So you are at liberty to change things, and you are in control of your work from the account section. You can also connect to internet. Right now I'm not connected to internet, that is why it's telling me no internet connection. You can add services that you want to work with. Now for the production information office, we have all these packages installed in our Excel office and they are all working. So you want to update your product, you can always do that from here. Once I've gotten the right key, you can also know more about Excel and other things that they do from this particular place. So this is what you need to know as regards to account. Now you still have more. So when you go to more, you see you have feedback. Feedback is they want to know how the work has been impacting on you. So under the feedback, I like something that is okay, you can click on this, or I don't like the something, or I have a suggestion. You are at liberty to do that here. So when you go back to more, you can see that you have option in some of your setup, these things does not come by this subsection. You see them well arranged under the green platform. That's why I say depending on the windows you are using, you have got to see this. So when you click on option comes up. So this is the last segment that is also equally important in our work. Option now have other sub options or subs. Now we have general, we have formulas, we have data, we have proofing, save, up to trust center. So for the general, users interface option is there. Whatever they want that have been done to this system to have it the way you are seeing it was set from all these options we are seeing. When you follow it gradually, some of them are checked and some are unchecked. These are what have been set by default. So you want to improve on your work or you want to remove some, please take your time. Don't be in a hurry, because this determines or defines what your work is. When you model it up, it will also affect the working capability of your Excel. So but once you have seen it, you can take your time to touch one after the other to see how it will impact on your work. So like for instance, when creating new workbook, how do you want it to be? Remember I told you this is the back end of our work. Use this as a default font, body font. This is what they are using. If maybe you don't like it, you can come here and choose whatever you want and it will appear as you want it. But we are leaving it the way it is. Font size, whatever the font is showing here is defined by this size, and this font size 11. Now you say default view of new sheet is normal view. Assuming you don't want normal view, you want to page break preview or page layout view, it will come for you, but here we have set normal view, so normal view continues. Include this many sheets, all of them are there. So you can also drag down to see username is there. This username, once it's defined, affect everything you do. So once you misuse by mistake, by default or by commission, you change this, it will affect already saved work, because it will now become a problem of not locating the pathway. So be sure of what you want to set your account or your information before you start, so that your work is not affected. So you see the office background that we just saw, you can also change it from here, and the office thing can also be changed from here. You see privacy setting amongst others is in the general. So after that you go to the next one, formula. So this defines how your formulas and how your ribbons and how your work is interpreted. You see here we see row 1 column 1 reference style is not being used, that is why it's not checked. What we're seeing here is A1 for instance, B1, C1, but it is showing column A and row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. But if you want to use this, for instance, this will be showing you row 1, column 1 definition. So that's why it is unchecked, depending on what you want, on how you want it to appear in your work. So whatever has been set and what have not been touched, please look at it carefully, ensure that you don't monkey with it so that it don't give you confusion. So the next one is data. It defines on how data is used. I was telling you about some functionalities of previous version. These are called legacy data. Legacy data are data that were produced before the current interface that has a level of flexibility. So those ones that are not flexible enough are called legacy data. So you want to work with it, that means you have to check some of this in order to allow it to do such functionalities on those data that were not previously lucid or flexible, just like static data. So the next one is proving. You see what and what is there. Say ignore words in uppercase amongst others, enforce accented uppercase in French. So depending on what you want, you set it there. How your work is saved is defined here. the information amongst others. You see it is saved under font under 10 minutes. Your work is saved. If you don't like it there, you can even change it to saving your work after every 3 minutes. So you see that if you have worked and you have worked up to 10 minutes, for instance, you can save the last 10 minutes for your work. And if any work is done it's not up to 10 minutes and something happens, those work has been lost. This is what is simply telling you, amongst others. So see the language. Remember, this work Excel is not only English, it can be used by different languages. So you say the language you prefer and the system will go ahead and set it according to your wish, because the essence is user friendly and the consumer satisfaction, ease of access. All these things you take your time to look at them. So we'll come to customize ribbon. When I click on customize ribbon, now these are the ribbons that appears in this on this our menu bar. It is not everything that appears, it is what we want appear that appears. So this is customize the ribbon. So you choose command from popular command. You can click on here, commands not in the ribbon, on all command, or from macros. So whatever you choose is what appears. So it's on popular command. Now you see we have some things here. Whatever you want to see here, there are plenty of them. Whatever you want to do, when you pick it, for instance you pick cut, for instance, as an excuse. See, as I just touched on cut, this add becomes active. So when you now, for instance, add on add, it's a command needs to be added to custom group. To create a group, pick a tab in the list, then click new group. So it tells you want to pick it, you create a group. So when you create a group, you can now bring into that group and it will appear the way it is. So these ones that I see here are the ones that are appearing in this ribbon because they have already been picked and brought in, and you can see that they are checked. You can see that they are checked. So whatever you don't want, you can always remove it from here. Now let me also give you an information before we continue. You look at your home, it is plus. I can also close this. So these things you are seeing here are what, let me shift this a bit, let me bring it down. You can see how you can move it. When you touch on the top, you can and click on your tab, then you can use one hand and shift it. So this background remover home, you can see our home, WPS PDF, you can see it here. You can see insert, you can see draw, you can see page layout formula. So what I don't want to see here, I can remove. I don't want to see here, I can remove from here. And moreover, we have main tab. You can click on this again. You see we have all tabs, main tab and two tab, but we're working with just the main tab. So this new inquiry, for instance, if I don't want to see it anymore on this place, all I need to do is to come here and uncheck it. And when I uncheck it, and let's see, let's go up a bit and see, and click on OK. You see it has acted. You can almost see it. So when we go back again and we'll come to where we were before on option, and we go to, excuse me, and we go to our customized ribbon again, and we'll come back here. You see this new tab, we click on it and we click on OK. You see our new tab has returned back to us. So it's just a simple way of how you can add and how you can remove. We are not through with that yet. You can also go back again to the customize ribbon and look at it critically. you see that when you look at your own customized ribbon, you will see that your developer tab is there, but it is not checked. That is why developer tab is not showing on your own right now. So click on the developer, just click on it, and developer tab will appear. Also inquire, you can click on inquire and power pivot, and they will all come alive in your work. So once you have done that, we are on the same page as I am, so we can continue our work. So you can create new tab, you can create new group here, you can rename your group, you can reset or import. After you have finished, you only click on OK. It will now be brought into your environment. So the next thing you are going to look at is a quick access toolbar. So this is quick access toolbar. So this is the toolbars you use to do quick access work. So those quick access work, we are going to do it later, but whatever is there is created from this platform. So what you want to see added to it, you can bring over to this for the work you want to do. When you finish, you click on OK, and it is saved for you. Now the next one is add-ins. Don't worry about this, we are going to do it when we start our work. So the add-ins is the next thing. So when you want to do your add-ins, we'll have this this exchange or interface that appears. See active application adds in, the active application that already added in for you. The inactive applications are also there, amongst others. So what you do is that you go to this manage. You see you have Excel add-ins. Then when you open it, you see you have commercial add-ins, we have actions, XML expansion pack, disable item. So for instance, you want to add in Excel add-in, you click on the Excel add-in for instance, and you go here and click on the go. When you click on the go, your own analysis tool pack is unchecked, so you can go ahead to check them. After you have done the checking, you click on OK. When you click on OK, those add-ins will be added to your work so that you can use them for analysis. So you can go back again and see open your option again, because you are not through with your work as far as the back end is concerned. You go again to add-ins. You can also do the same for commercial add-in, and you go on, click on go again. The commercial add-in, you can see the inquire and others, you can always add them in. When you finish, you click on OK, and you are good to go. So we have been through with what is on our back end, that is our file. So we're now looking at our home page properly. So we're looking at our home page properly. So for the home page, we have some other separations. We have the clipboard, we have the font, we have the alignment, we have number, style, cell, editing, and this is PDF for people that have this in their system. So for the home page, depending on, because we don't have any data here, that is why this is somehow dull. So because of it, again, we are going to bring in our sample super store as we are working to see how it will impact on our explanation. Let us bring it in. Let's go to our file again, go to open. When you go to open, you go to browse. Hope you are following my footstep. Click on your local disk depending on where your work is saved, and bring it out. Mine is saved in my hard local disk drive. Yours can be on just the desktop, doesn't matter. The work will be brought in. My work is saved in my data bank, so I don't need to struggle too much. So I go to my data bank and go to my Excel file and pick my sample superstore data once again. and then bring them in. So this is my sample superstore data. So once this is there, you see that this my clipboard have some things that you need to see. This is for cut. You want to just cut other segments for work and it is not being replaced, you can cut it up. You can also have room for photocopy. You can copy the work by using Ctrl C on your keyboard or just highlighting where you want to copy and copy it. You can also do some format painter. You can do a lot of work there like it's inscribed there. So these ones are what you can do with your clipboard. And I always tell you that when you see this small arrow, always point to give you some direction of what the clipboard is doing or any other functionalities that is showing such arrow. So you see all the items you have copied to the clipboard. You can see them from there. So the next thing is the font segment. For this font segment, you have the name of the style that you are using. This is Calibri. You don't like Calibri or you want to see other ones, you can click on this. If you have Cambrai, Calibri, they will have other fonts like RBD, Algerian, area black, amongst many. There are quite a lot of them here. So you can pick whatever you want. Now it is also telling us the font size. This work is saved with some font size 12. That is what it's telling us by showing us that font size. You can also see this is for write up. You can either increase your font size by clicking on this, or you can reduce your font size by clicking on that, on the other one that is looking smaller. How do we do it? Let's just practicalize it. Just highlight by touching this small green triangular arrow. You can highlight everything on the work, and for instance, you want to increase the font size. All you need to do is just to click on it and you continue to expand. See, it's now 16 and the size is becoming big. And you want to reduce again, you come here and click it. Just by clicking, you continue to reduce. Now it's on 12, now it's gone on 11, now it's gone on 10. So as you wish, that is how you will see the font size after you have highlighted. And you want to come out of here, just click on anything here. You can anything here, you can bring you back to normal. Okay, so the other thing again you need to know about this font is that you can bolden your font size, you can italize it, you can underline it. Even under the underlining, you have other options. You can underline with a single line or double line. So once you have done that, it will look the way you want it. So let's go back again and see if we can be able to bolden it. When we click on B, you see it has been boldened, and you click back again, it will bring your work back. And you want to underline, when you click on this, your work has been underlined, sorry, has been italicized, and when you click again, it brings it back. For the underlining, you click on underline, you see every work has been underlined. You want it to be double underlined, you click on double, it has been double. And you don't want to be underlined again, you click again, it will move away from being double underlined. Then for this is talking about your borders. How do you want your borders to look like? So for the borders, you can click on it. You see a lot of functionalities that can be used. You can only want to just click just on the bottom borders or the top, the left, right, or no border, whatever you want, you can get it from here. And this is extra that you can see, and you can also click for more borders, and it will appear and you use them for work. So this is just like a summary of your work. You see, this is showing you border, it is showing you font, it is showing you whether to fill, protection. So this is just a little place where you can do a lot of formatting for your work, which we'll go to later. Okay, so the next thing you should understand in our home page is the filling. Filling talks about your back. How do you want your wall of your work to be? Like now this is showing yellow, and you know this work is highlighted. So if I click on the yellow, for instance, first of all, let's open this to see the options. So we have a lot of options. You even have more colors as an option. So if I say, okay, give me this yellow, and it give me this yellow, for instance, and I click on the yellow, you see all the background has now turned to yellow. And I say, okay, I don't like yellow again. Just give me light green. You see, it has become light green. So it is at your choice. Or you say, I don't want any color, give me back my white. It can be white, or you can say no fill. It will bring you back to where it was. Now the next one is on your write-up, your writings. It determines the color of your writing. This is just the same way we have different colors, and you say you want the red write-up, and you click on it. You see everything has become red, and you say bolding it for me. It has become bolded. Remove it again, bring it to where it was. Click on this and say give me the automatic, which is black. It will bring you back to black. So when you look at this arrow, it tells you about some settings. And how do you engage it? By using Ctrl Shift plus F, and you can customize your text to give it the exact look you want. You can add varieties of style and color to your text, as well as visual effects such as strike through and superscript. All these we will do as our work progresses. So the next line is in alignment. Alignment talks about how your work is arranged. What part does it follow? When you look at, when we now come back here, move away from it again, and we just look at this line, you see that this is the total space of our work, but the write-up has decided to follow the right hand side and not the left hand side. So we can say that this work is aligned to the right. Now the second one, you can see that it is aligned to the left. The third one is aligned to the right. So this is all about alignment, and for this, you see it is closely knitted together, but from this name you see that it's aligned to the left. And for proper view, you can come, when you take your cursor up, it will look like a cross. Just hold on it on your tab and just shift it a bit. It will show you where the alignment is actually positioned. So for the alignment, our work, you see here, it says top alignment, especially when you're talking about your feature or your column names. So this one is top aligned. It can be aligned the text, and this is middle, this is just on text, this is aligning to the bottom. So you talk about top, middle, and bottom. You can use it to arrange your body work, the top or the bottom work. You can also look at alignment that are aligned to the left. You can shift work irrespective of the setting to a particular. I will also explain why those alignment we are done in this fashion, but for now let's continue to build gradually. So for instance, I want to work on alignment to the left, and let me look at work. For instance, this first line that is aligned to the right, I can realign it by, when I pick my arrow to this A, see it is showing me something like an arrow pointing down. So I just click on it. It will highlight every column from the beginning to the end of this work. So I now decided to do what? To align the work to the left. All I need to do is just click on it. See, the work has been shifted to the left. Shift it again, it will bring it back to its original position. Okay, so for this, you want to align the work to the middle. Okay, let's use this one that I just pushed. I just expanded a bit and say give me middle alignment. I just click on it. It is now arranged on the middle row. Take me back to where I am. It will bring you back. And now this is aligned to the right, to the left, this B. So I click on B and I say give me alignment to the right. It will shift to the right. So I can still bring it back to its original position. So this is how you can see alignment. So let me pick on something to show us this formula arrangement. For instance, let me use this for instance, and I want to arrange my work. You can arrange it angle counterclockwise or clockwise or vertical. For instance, I want vertical. I can click, already I've highlighted on it. Okay. Already I've highlighted on it. So what I need to do is just to click on the vertical. Once I click on the vertical, you can see that the work has been aligned or arranged in vertical fashion. And I go again, because it's still been highlighted. I say give me rotate text down. It is rotating this text down. I can go again and say, okay, give me angle counterclockwise. So remember, I told you about this. You can bring it back until you get to the step where it was before through this particular part. So you can also use that. Now this is talking about your indentation. When you are writing and you want to keep some space within your work, you can use this indentation to arrange that. You can also wrap text. You can also wrap text. You can merge center. So how do you wrap text? Let's check our blank space, and let me just write something and say this is my day, or this is my work, for instance. Now when you look at this is my work, for instance, if I click outside, it is crossing more than one column, and I don't like it this way because I also want to preserve this line. What do I do? So what you do is simple. Start from where it started, not everything, and come to wrap text. So it's bringing the whole text under one column. That is what wrap text done. So when I click on the wrap text, you see it has kept the work for me under one line of work. So we can be able to do that. So you can also merge your work. So in merging work, you have option. You can merge and center it. You can merge across. You can merge the cell, and you can also unmerge cell. So it's a simple something. For instance, I have these two May and June. This is two work on two different columns, and I want to merge. I will highlight on the two. When you want to highlight, you click on, put your arrow, put shift control, go to your keyboard. You see where there's arrow pointing up, leftwise, rightwards, and downwards. Click on the right word to cover the second column. So you now come to your merge and center, and then click on merge and center. It will give you an option, say merging cell only keep the upper left value and discard other values. You agree with it. For instance, you click on it, it will merge the center but it has taken away all our values. So let's go back again and bring it back and go to another of the option, merge across. And let's see what merge across does. Merge across, keep one and leave one. Okay, let's also go back and look at the other option again on merge cell. Keep upper left and the same word, but let's see what it does. Everything disappears. Okay, so you go again and go to your merge center, and for instance, if you have this merge across and say okay, now you want to unmerge and see, and your merge cell, you see it has returned the original position, but it's not the way it was in the beginning. One part has been discarded and it has been discarded forever, except you go again and bring it back. So this is how you can merge your cell. So you can also get more information from here. Don't see what you are looking for, you can check full sets of alignment option when you go to your search or for help. It will guide you. The next one is number. So for number, you see that we have different arrangement. Now is by default is on general. So let's go back to our sample superstore data. So this one is already populated. You see still set on general, for instance, and when you click on the general, it will come down depending on what is being highlighted. You see that we're highlighting same day, so that is what we are seeing here. Assuming I decide to highlight the whole column, and it will tell me the information that is on that column is a date function. And when you go to this option, you can give you option of what I can do about this date function. By default, it has interpreted as date function. It's possible that is not what I have in mind. That is why all these options are coming. But if there is nothing on this work and the work is blank, as we have here, and I click on this blank line, for instance, it will be on general. And when I go to on general, everything is just blank because there's nothing on the work. But if I go ahead to click on this June, click on June, for instance, let's go again and click on June and go to general again, you see it is showing me June on different platforms here, because it cannot interpret otherwise, because it's only June that is there. But when we go back again to our sample superstore and we click on, let me pick something else, something like this, on general, and look at it, it will give me different option, mostly on one option because that is the option available to it. But in essence, what we are seeing is a platform where possibilities are given to us on what we want to convert. It's a conversion factor, but mostly is mostly placed on general. So sometimes Excel may misinterpret our data. This is a text data. This is also a text data, but it has number. So Excel may misinterpret it. So if it is not well interpreted, or sometimes we'll have date function that are given in form of numbers. Amongst others, we can do some simple conversion from this point and we'll get our answer. So when we start to work, you see it clearly and we engage it fully. Now here gives you the option to change your currency type. If you are using United Kingdom currency, you use pounds. United States, you use dollar. Euro, you use euro sign. You can see more accounting formulas that you want to use. They are all here the way you want it. When you go to the currency, you see a lot of them. So you choose what you want to do. Even your percentage, your scientific and custom, you can put it to your how it suits you. it is quite admissible. Then the percentage also, you want to work in percentage, you can also do that from here. Now your zeros after decimal is controlled from this perspective. You can see it is removing the zero or increasing the zero depending on what you want to see in your work. Then the next one is formatting. Formatting talks about beautifying your work, making it look better. So under formatting, we have conditional formatting. See, it's under style. We have conditional formatting, we have formatting as a table, and we have style formatting. So conditional formatting is a formatting that we use under giving rules. Giving rules determines conditional formatting. Something is happening because something else has occurred. So for here we have highlight cells rule, like greater than, less than, between, equal, amongst others. Even more rules can be invoked from this place. Then we also use the one that give us the top 10 items or percentage, top, bottom, or above average or below average, or as the case may be. So once you have set this up, it can be able to be used for our workings. Now we also have data bars giving us different color. You see gradient fill, solid fill. When you click on more results, you see a lot of them which you can set to achieve a set objective. It is always better when you are given a specific assignment and you gauge on them. It make more sense. So have color scale, you keep it, put it as you want. The color determines your rating because you set the rules and now you follow it up. Now also have icon set, directional, greater, on average, the one that is going below, depending on if it's a 3-arrow color, it can be more than that. It determines the direction of flow. We also have shapes, we have indicators, amongst many. So these are interactions which you work with when you are setting conditional formatting. You can set a new rule for your work. You can also clear the rule and manage the rule. Sometimes you can import to a work, or you can bring a data that already have a conditional formatted specifics. So all you need to do is to come over here and clear the rules. Say clear rules from selected cell or clear from the entire sheet. So it's always advisable you clear everything so that you have a virgin work that will not have issues as you are running your data. So that will be seen under conditional formatting. Now for table format, how your table is arranged is done here. You see this one is light. The coloration is in a very simple manageable pattern. We have medium and you also have dark or heavy. So most time we don't advise you to go on dark. It's always better to go on light. It's always better to go on light. Remember, our work is to bring visualization, to bring insight, and not to distract or defocus our client or stakeholders or share or the people that have interest in our work. So you can set new table style. You can even put up your new pivot table style from here, and it will give you exactly what you are looking for. Now you have set type, how you want your work to look like. This is all like customizing your work depending on the type of work we do. Data scientists and data analytics, we don't too much go into this because it's a distraction. You see, already you are seeing a lot of coloration, so mostly avoid this. But if you must, please make sure your coloration is at the lowest, one or two, or just the simple combination colors that will not defocus or distract your audience. So we also look at how to insert. You can insert cell to your work by clicking on the insert directly here. It will insert a new cell, or you can insert new column sheet. Whatever you want to do can be done from here. Let's see if it can be worked out. Okay, let's just click on insert and see. Now it's asking you a question. Do you want to insert cell down, or you want to insert entire row? When you want to insert entire row, that means you're starting from here up to the end, or you want to insert a cell down. Okay, so you want to insert a cell down and you click on OK, for instance. You see, it just remove what we have here. So we didn't do it well. I intentionally did like that. So you remember our rule: to bring back your work, just come here, take the last step, it will bring it down. Now when you want to insert, for instance, you click on a particular column. When you have done that, you go to your insert and click on it. Now you click on insert, for instance, sheet column, because we are working on column. You see, it has been added to you, so you can give it a name and populate it, depend, or you want to have it as a blank, it is possible there. So you can also bring back this last step. Let's look at another insert. Click on the insert, for instance, click on insert cell, and let's look at how it is also giving you a new cell because of the direction that you chose. That is how you are seeing it there. So you take this step again back. Now you want to insert a row. You see, when you come to this place where we have this number, you can also bring it back to the main number here. Maybe on the row 3 you want to put a new row. You see my arrow is already on number 3. Just click on it. So you have a very long row that covers every row on this sheet 3, and you come again to insert and click on insert. Insert says, see, it has created a new row for you. So we'll also clean it. That is how you can insert. You can also delete. The same way we did insert, you can delete. You can also format. So in formatting, for instance, you make your work better. When I click on format here, you see it is asking you the cell size. You say what is the height of the row you want, or you want it to be autofill height. You want it that they just click on autofill, it will give you exactly the height that auto on its own will set, or column width amongst. Then visibility, you can hide a cell or a column, or you can hide a column or a row. And you see, you can hide row, you can hide column, you can even hide a full sheet, and you can also unhide it. So it is part of your security measures that you can apply. You can also organize your sheet by giving it a new name, and the name you give will become usable. You can even assign color to your work and it will follow suit. You see, you can also protect your sheet from here, lock it and format your cell even from this particular cell under the home page. Remember, all these things we have been discussing all this while is just on the home page. So the next one, this is on cell. We are going to editing. For editing, you can see this is the sign for summation, and when you click on summation, you can sum the total automatically. You can sum average, you can count numbers, you can look for the maximum and the minimum, and you can also do more functions here. You can do more function like if conditional, hyperlink, count, amongst others. We can do it using the summation, and for this we can fill our work, auto fill. We can fill our work, and then with this we can erase or clear our work. So on this autofill, I will set up an assignment in a subsequent work, and we can able to see how we can use this to work with. Now this one is for selection or sorting. You see this funnel and you see A to Z. So when you click on it, you see you can sort your work from smallest to largest, maybe from this smallest alphabet A up to Z, or you can sort from alphabet Z down to A, so largest to smallest. You can also custom sort. Now I don't want to use this sorting from smallest to largest now, but it can be done. So how do we do it so that you know how to do it? I can come here. Already I've highlighted everything, and I will now come here and say sort from largest to biggest based on alphabet, and let's just see what happens here. Nothing much is done because our work is already arranged in row ID. Okay, we come again here and you now go to custom sort and click on custom sort. For instance, a different ball game will ensue. You see, for the sorting column, you are giving us the column, and the first column is row ID, order date, ship date, amongst many. So you now asking you, what row do you want to sort by? Are you sorting by custom row ID, or you're sorting by order date, or by ship mode? So let's say, okay, we want to sort by, we now look and we say sort by country. For instance, this is arbitrary because we are still going to follow this step to bring it back to where it was originally. So have that in your mind. So say, okay, want to sort by country. It will also have other this in, okay, sales value. What kind of sales value do you want? It will give us, do you want just the values, just the numbers we are seeing, these values already here, or you want to sort by color? Remember, our work does not have any differentiated color or font size, where the font color, we don't have this conditional formatting, we have not set it up, just the cell. Okay, it is asking, are you starting from the lowest alphabet, which is the country with maybe the lowest alphabet, to the country with highest, or the one with highest to lowest? We'll say lowest to highest. So if we have set this condition, we can now click OK and sort. Now it has sorted for us. Want to be sure that it has sorted. It's possible. Okay, this didn't sort. It's possibly because the data was the setting of the data. So let's go again and see. Let's go again and try it again and see how it will look. Under custom field, add level, delete level, copy level, options. My data has header. Yes, it has header. Sort by country, cell A to Z. Let me go again. Now the question is that, does it have a country? The country, I think, is just USA. That is why we didn't see much. So let's change the condition of sorting. Let's say sort by region now, or sort by, let's just sort by region and leave others and see how it will look like. Okay, now I've sorted by region. You can see that the alphabet has changed. It is no more. Now let's go to look for where the region is located. This is country, everything is United States of America. That is why it didn't change. Now we're looking for region. You see, it started from central, which is C, and let's go down a bit. You can see other region. You see certain central, east, which is E, up to south, and the rest. So it's sorted by region. So we can now always go back to that last step by coming here and clicking one step backward. It has brought us back to where we are. We can also say let's sort again, going to custom sort. Let's close this first and tap on this complete so that we don't miss anyone out, and say let's sort on something else. Last time we sort on region, let's sort on state, on city, or let's sort on state, for instance, and leaving other conditions and say okay. Now this state, you see, starts with Alabama, and this is row ID 80. So it has sorted by state. So this is how you can do custom sorting. We have brought it back to its original form. So another thing again you can do is filter. Now look at how the filter works. We look at the, let's come out again. When you look at the column head, this is column head. You see that we'll have row ID, but we don't have much information about what else is here. And moreover, when you want to see the number of columns and row you have, you always do something very simple. Come to the A here, just you can click on the row ID. For instance, when you click on the row ID, come to your laptop and click on Shift Control arrow down. See, it has taken you to the last row. See, it is 9,995 minus the first row, which is a column name. So it is 9,994 plus 1. That is why we are seeing 995 and 994. Then you want to see the number of column that we have here, which we also call feature. CB on Shift. Let's go back again. Okay, so you put on row, Shift Control down, then now and then Shift to keep your hand on the arrow pointing right. So you can see that your column is U. U is a T is a 20, so 21 columns are here. So you want to go back, Shift Control arrow back and Shift Control arrow up. It will take you where you were in the first instance. So this is how you can able to know the number of row you have. But for you to have further information with regards to the work, whatever you have here, you want to know much about it, you come to this segment again, come to the filter, just observe this row ID. See, they are all plain, there's nothing again there, and click on the filter. Automatically an arrow has been added to it. This arrow is what you can use to have a further look into your work, to give you a further information. Like this row ID, there are unique numbers that appear for one row, one unique number. That's why it starts from 1 and count to 2 up to the last. So no two rows have the same number. Now for other ID, we have also number which we can have more than one row having the same number, like row number 2 and row number 3 have the same ID number, other ID. That means it's possible a particular client made this different order on the same date. So it will have just like a receipt that have more than one item. So you can see CA 2016 152 156, and you can also see a 2016 152 156, and the same date, second class, amongst others. You see the same customer making the same order. That is why. So this one cannot give you exactly the unique nature we are looking for. And when you look down, you see that this particular one started from here and got up to this point. Okay, so but when you look at the ship mode, for instance, and you come here and open up this arrow, it tells you something important, that we have how many items. We have first class, we have same day, we have second class, and we have standard class. These are 4 different items. Irrespective of the number of occurrence, they are segregated into 4 unique items. So this information is what you get by using the filter proper to get this. So you can click on OK. You can look at something else, maybe country. When you click, you see you only have one country. That is why when we wanted to work on custom control using country, we couldn't get any change because it's just one country. Okay, so you come for state, for instance. Okay, look at city first. You have plenty cities, and all of them are there. We also look whether we have any blank. That means for some that we are not captured, there's no blanks there. Okay, so it's in order, so you can close it. You can also look at state. You click on state. You see we have the states which the cities are operating in. Okay, so this is how you can able to look at more things. You can even decide to look at just one specific state and maybe one specific city. It is all possible using this filter um, icon. You can also find things, and there's some things you can find. You can find and replace. You can go to where you are doing the work. You go to special. You can use formula. Amongst even data validation can be done from this place. So this is what you can do using find. Okay, so you can create PDF. You can use your signature, constant signature from here if you so wish. So from here you can share your work from here. So we have seen home. So let's go to the next one, which is this special one that is not for everybody. It is when you have downloaded and installed WPF that you can have this, but just for a quick view, you can see you can create a PDF here. You can create and play, that means a video. You can also create and share. This is for creating PDF. Now for WPS to PDF, you have tools that you can use to do a lot of work of conversion, whether it is in Word document or JP file. You can convert them here. Now this is your conversion setting amongst others. So for insert those activities that you will undertake to bring in some important features into your work is where insert have an important contribution to do. So the first thing you see is pivot table. So pivot table is just like a summary of a very long work. Remember, this our work is 9,000 and something row, but pivot table can make it such a way that we can be able to have a summary of this. And when we have such summary, we can show it in table form or we can chart it in graphical form. It is all possible. So that is what pivot table does. And you have recommended ones, and you can also have normal table which you can also construct on your own. Maybe you have some list of activities, maybe sales and income or savings or output and input. You can have those tables. When you have finished setting up the table, just like we have our blank table here, after putting up things, we can begin to use it for analysis. That's what it's saying here. So that is under tables. We also have illustration, add-ins, charts, tour, sparklines, filter, link. So for our illustration, you can bring in pictures into your work. How do you bring pictures? You can bring pictures that are in this device. Can bring pictures that are in this device. That means when you click on it, it will take you to our file page. Maybe there's some pictures you have downloaded or you have saved or you brought in through your flash drive or any other means. You can bring them into your Excel environment for illustration or for clearer understanding to your audience. You can also stock image. You can stock image. How do you stock image? When you click on stock image, for instance, so you need internet to get to that. So we are not using internet now and we're not working offline. So we'll see, go back again on a picture. Now you can use online picture. For the online picture, you can, when you click on it and your internet is on, you can actually take you online and you can look at the pictures you want and you bring them, you download them and you bring them into your environment. So other things you can do here is the shape. What shape do you want? Maybe you want to do some drawing. When you click here, you have a lot of shapes that you can interact with. All these shapes are quite workable with. You can click on them and bring them into the Excel environment. You can also bring in icons. You can bring in 3D models through this device or you stock it, go on the internet and get it. You have also smart devices that you can, when you click on them, it will open up and you can see a lot of devices that you can use. These things are also obtainable in other tools like PPT, which is a PowerPoint presentation. They are very much alike because it is also the same Microsoft company. Then you can also screenshot your work and bring it into the environment. You can screenshot it and bring it here and do some editing. Now for add-ins, you can get in add-ins amongst others. All these ones are not showing up because I have not on my internet. I decided not to on it today, but if the internet is on, all these ones will be up and doing. You see them lively, so you can bring your add-ins from them and they can work with it. Now I have recommended charts that you can work with, and look at some of them here. You can, when you open this, you see we have 2D columns, two-dimensional columns. You see 3D column. You can see 2D bar and 3D bar and more column charts. That is for column. You can, this one too is lines. You can put up lines. You can put 3D line. You can put area. Whatever you want, you can get it here. You have a pie chart, donut, amongst others that you can actually bring up. You can, this is catapult and bubbles, and more of them can also be brought into our environment for working capabilities. And this is also combo. You can create more. So you can also use the pivot chart here. Remember, here is just pivot table, but here this pivot chart, you can open it up. See, you have pivot chart. You have pivot chart and pivot table. Most time I like using this because it's a combination of both the pivot chart and the pivot table. So not only are you seeing the table, you're also seeing powerful visualization that will bring further insight to your audience as they engage them. So these are all possible when you use the insert. So you can do your tour, and you can also use sparkline. Bring up sparkline here. Then you can also have slicers. In slicers, you can be able to do a lot of things with slicers. These ones are better illustrated than explained. So when I begin to work on pivot, you will see me bring in slicers and timeline to summarize our work and make it look more presentable to stakeholders, such that you don't need to open a lot of pages to get insight. On the same page, you can have a lot of insight as you are touching on the slicers. They are changing and giving you further insight on the specifics, or just few specifics. So it makes your work very strong. You have links, can link it up. Then you can also add text right up to your presentation, or you can also add symbols as the case might be. So we'll go to draw. Draw is an inclusion. Most work will not see draw. For those that like drawing, you can have your drawing tools here, which you can use to do a lot of things to make stakeholders understand what you can do. So you can convert from ink to shape, or ink to mass, or you can ink replay, whatever you feel you can use it for. It's quite possible, but it's mostly not usable. I just put it there for the fun of it. So you may not need it, but if you so wish it, you can go to your add-ins and bring it up under your customized data platform. Now this is for page layout. So when you are presenting, you have a lot of advantage or capabilities that you can be able to take into cognizance. So for page layout, we have our theme, we have our page setup, we have scale to fit, we have sheet option and arrange. So for the theme, you are in control of the kind of theme you want to see. So for a particular work, the outlook is under your control. If this is not enough, you can browse for more theme, or you can save current theme if it is okay for you. So that is what you can do with theme. You can also come here and change the color of the theme to this combination. So you can see that this combination are almost closely knitted. So you don't have colors that are completely contrasting in nature. They have similar color, and as time goes on, we instruct you on the better colors for projects and presentation in order not to defocus your stakeholders and your audience. You can choose your font, how you want your font to look like. You can also choose the effect that you want to be seen in your work. So these are possible under the theme in our page layout. So this is your margin orientation. So for the margin, you pick how you want your margins to look like, whether you want them to be too extreme or to more inside, or to add some things to it by customizing it. Is at your discretion. You can pick whatever have been given to you here, or you can tinker it and make it better, and you know it is, you are now customizing it. So for the orientation, you determine whether you want your work to be seen as a portrait, just a standing picture, or a landscape, which is a wider spectrum. Like this, my screen here can be regarded as a landscape. So you can do that. The size of your work is also at your discretion. You can determine whether you want it to be A4, A5, A3, any size that you want. You can even customize. Is at your discretion on what to print. Remember, some of these things we are seeing them at our back end. They are there, so they're also appearing here, telling us that you can do the same thing in different places. You can also see that when we go to our data, you see that this filter that I just showed us, you can also get it in our data ribbon. So the brakes are silent here, so it means that you cannot operate it here until maybe when you have applied some particular principles. So your background is also, you can set your background here, what you want to see at the back as you're working is also workable here, amongst others. Now your width, your height, your scale, just like what we did in the setting, is also applicable here. So scale to fit. So sheet option, you want to see grid line, this is under page layout. You can view it, or you don't want to view grid line. Let's just touch it and see. You see it doesn't want to see grid line. This same thing can be done under view. Let me just touch it. You see the grid line again here. You can remove it from here. So let's go back to our page layout. So you can also do it from here. You want it to be printed always, you on it here. You want to have headings, you want to see your headings, you give it the option. If you don't want it, you remove it. You have some drawings and write-up, depending on which one you want to be in the front. This is where you can set it. Here you say bring forward. Look at other options. Bring it forward or bring to the front. The front is not applicable here because there's no object. So send backward, and send to the back is not there because there's no object, just one item. So selection place, how to align your work, snap to grid, whatever you want is applicable. It can be done as long as Excel is concerned. So when we go to the formula bar, you see that awesome term that I showed you earlier is still here. You see all what you can sum. You can sum your total, you can sum average, you can count the numbers, maximum function, minimum function, and other activities can be done under the sum function. Recently used work, the last few work you have used will always stay here, so you can always use them. If you're the type that are still on, maybe using a particular work, you are still on a work, those recently used function can still remain for your use. So this is for financial. You want financial formulas, you can get it here. Remember, Excel is multidimensional in usage. It is an open source, everybody can use it. So you have a lot of functions depending on your field of operation. You go there. Financial is there. Logical. We that are in data science and data analytic workload, we are conversant with this. We'll use them a lot. You can and false, if error, if any, if not. All these functions are logical functions, so they are always in use. We also have text function. We have a lot that we can use to do our work. You can see clean, you can see exact, you can see lower, mid, num, or we'll use some of them as the work progresses. You see upper, you see proper, These are text function which act on text files. So this is date and date time. So this is the function that works with date time. It's also good that we know it. Reference lookup. This is mathematical function. Now there are more functions that are there. There are quite a lot. Statistical function. You can see them. There are very much plenty that you can use. Statistical function. You see engineering function for engineers. Cube function. Information function, capabilities, even the web can be engaged here. So these are many things you can see when you are using formula. You can also name manager, create selection, define name, among other things. Now we have precedents and trace dependent. When there's a work we are going to do, that we can use that when we are taking at student scores and how to set a system that will automatically update it if we happen to change the score rating. We can use trace precedence and trace dependent to actually do that. So we can also check error amongst others. Sometimes our rows can be can range from few lines to hundreds of lines and even up to millions of lines or row. So it will give you some of these functionalities to check our error or trace our error and make our work less cumbersome. Watch window, calculation option, you want to use calculator, euro conversion, and the rest depends. It's currently off. You can also on it your own if you so wish to use it for operation. So the next is data. This is another important ribbon. So for data, it tells us how to get data and where to get our data from. So the first one you see, when you see this something like a drone, is always a sign of a database, and this is table. So you want to get data, it is asking you where do you want. You can get data from file, you can get it from database, you can get it from Azure, from online service, quick other sources, combined query, amongst many. So this file is talking about the file in our work. So you want to, for instance, look at the file and work. You can get data from your workbook. This is Excel workbook. You can get it from text file or CSV. Any work that is not on Excel, some work are also on CSV file known as comma separated values. They look like Excel in this in their outlook, but they have a lot of distinction. You can bring such file from here too. You can also bring work from XML, from JSON file. JSON file is mostly on, we are talking about key and value system of data preservation. You can also get it from permanent data format PDF, or from your folder in your laptop, or from SharePoint folder. So you can get it from anywhere if it is on file. So for the case of database, you can get it from database, from SQL Server database, from Microsoft Access database, from analysis services which you pay for, from SQL service analysis. There are plenty of them, that all these Postgres, MySQL, from IBM DB2, from Oracle database, from Teradata, name it, from HANA, SAP HANA. You can get data that you can use for analysis from these places. Then you can also get from Azure. When you want to get from Azure SQL database, from Azure Synapse Analytics, you can get data from there which you can explore under this environment and do your analysis, and you get results from online service. From other service, you can even get from combined query Through combine query, you can merge your work or you can append. We'll get to know this as our work continues. So you can either take this work direct from here, or you can go here and pick. See, these ones are selected because they are specialized. Most of work are either coming from Excel file, or they're coming from CSV file or text file. So you can just go direct here and pick on text file. So if it's a text file, remember I wanted to pick an Excel file, but I decided to go on CSV file and it showed me blank. There's nothing there because I was actually searching for Excel file because I opened an Excel environment. But assuming that I intentionally want to pick a CSV file to bring into the Excel from here, it will open up for me. So let's just click on this as an example to see or to test what we have just said. So let's just allow it to run. Now it has come back again to open for me. Let me follow the procedure I followed before and go to the same place I went before, that there was no data for me to use. I click on the user, click on my name, go to CDC, go to data set. Remember the last time I went on CSV. Let's go on CSV again. This time around I'm picking on CSV and text file. So I click on it. When you look down now, you see the same place that was telling me no data. Look at a lot of data here. These data are under CSV. Moreover, the same sample superstore can also be under CSV. I save this as a CSV file here. So let me now use it since I have it here. Let me just open coffee data, for instance, and I open it. It's a CSV file. When I bring it in, let's see how it looks like. Let's see how it looks like. Okay, so this is a CSV file. So it's trying to read it in. It will give me some option. Let me expand it more. It shows based on the first 200 row. For instance, I say no, give me the entire data set. So it's looking at entire data set. You can see when you look up, you see the limiter. The limiter is where it is saved, and it is comma, which is CSV. It is the limiter. What is separating each file is comma. That is why it is said the limiter. It can be equal sign, it can be semicolon, it can be anything, but for this one is comma that is separating it. That is why it's a CSV file. So there's a trick, there's procedure here, but for the sake of this class, I will just jump it and just say load file so that you can see how the file will look like when it has been loaded into the system. So it's trying to load the file. So the file has been loaded, so I can close here, and I can now look at it. This is a CSV file. The only difference is that it is already prepared in a particular format here. That's why it's saying here. But the major thing is that you can see what you are seeing in other file. You can see what you are seeing in other file. You can bring it down. Whatever we are doing in other file we have done, but bringing it up tells us this is a CSV file. That is the only thing we are interested for now. So let's go back to our sample super store. Okay, our sample superstore has also been affected by our CSV file, which we brought up. Okay, so let's continue our explanation on our work. So we'll go back to on data. So you can also pick a work from web. You can pick from table or range. We can pick from recent source or existing connection, that is getting and transforming data. Sometimes, like we saw, data can be transformed before we brought it in. Transforming means we are looking at this data to be sure that it is in its right format. For instance, if we are having a date column, then we're expecting to see dates under it. If we're having a text column, which is it is not numerics or numerical, it doesn't have numbers, then it should be under number, it should be under numerics. If you have a float, it should be under float. All these I will come to explain to us one after the other so that we don't have any misgiving. So that is how we'll talk about data transformation. After that, we'll now bring it into our environment. We can also perform queries on connections. We can query a connection, we can check the properties of our work and see how it aligns with what we want to do. Remember I told you about filtering. You can see the same thing we saw in our home page. We're also seeing it here to sort and to put up filter. And this is the filter already put up here. So if I click on it, it will remove it. I click back, it will bring it back. So we have some advanced settings too, depending on what you want to do. Now sometimes you will bring the work and the work is supposed to be showing you a number, for instance a date, but instead of a date like this date for instance, what you'll be seeing is something like this kind of a number. Now number is not the same as date, so most time what we do is that we click on that particular column like this if it is not this date, and we'll come to this text to column and click on this text to column. It will automatically convert it to the right column. So you convert it to the right order, then you can be able to do analysis with it. So we can flash fill. We can also remove duplicates on our work. We can do data validation cycle, invalid data, clear this. All this we can do in our work. So now this is a operational function of analysis. What if analysis, scenario manager. You set the goal and you can use it for work. You can group and ungroup your work under outline, and you can also do analysis here where we can look at, for instance, we want to look at covariance, we want to look at percentage amongst others. It is possible using this analysis. You see ANOVA, two-way ANOVA, correlation, covariance, description. A lot of things can be done here. T-test, F-test, Z-test, all can be done here. So this is what you can see under the date view. When you go to review, you are looking at the work you have done and seeing to look at it a second time to be sure that all the I's and the T's are well dotted. So what do? You come and look at here. We have proofing, accessibility, insight, language, comment, protect, ink. So for here it has to be spelling, to be sure your spelling checks, and in other thesaurus, which other language, which other word can qualify whatever you are doing. Your work statistics, it is for statistical use. Then you can check accessibility, maybe connection and the rest. Check alt test, which you press auto text and the rest. Format as table and other options can be done here. So look up insight on what you want to check. You can also translate. This is modern possibilities under Excel. That is why it's a very strong and powerful platform or tools of analysis. You can add comment among others. You can show comment. They can protect your work. You can protect the particular sheet. You can protect the workbook, and whatever you want to do, you can do that. You can hide ink and the rest. Hide ink if there's ink. Maybe you want to do a printing, you can hide those ink, the things you want to see for yourself. After you must have printed, you can bring it back so that it is not affecting your work. The people that you're sending your work to will not have privy to what you have highlighted for your personal consumption. So that is what you can see under review. So for view, You have workbook view, you have show, zoom, window, and macros. So for your workbook view, is it a normal view? You want to page break preview. Where do you break your page among others? Page layout, you can do that here. You can put up your grid line or remove grid line. See, and put it up again. There's no problem about that. You have this formula bar. You can remove the formula bar and you can bring it back. Depending on the kind of work you are doing with Excel, if you are not doing any analysis that have to do with formula, you may not need it. Even your headings, these ones have heading. You can remove your headings or you can bring it back. It's at your discretion depending on what you are doing. So zooming, you can zoom your work using the zoom selection and the rest, or you can also come here and click on increase to zoom in and click on minus to zoom out. All of them are possible. Then you come here under window, you want to add new window to what you are doing, or you want to remove, or you want to arrange, you want to freeze your pen. Maybe you want to see just the column as you are rolling your work. You can come to this freeze and click on the freeze pen. The first one is freeze the pen. It's showing both keep row and column visible while the rest of workbook scroll based on current selection. So for instance, you click on this for instance and you come here and you want to be going up. So the first row is kept for you depending on where you highlighted initially. So you can click here to remove that setting and when you shift it to show the page again, maybe reduce the font size. Okay, you come again and it's working with the first row. You come again on this freeze pan and do it again. Let's see. See, it's only showing you just the first column, and you want to also shift your work here. You see that this particular column is not moving so that you are not distracted. You can know exactly which column you are using if you are using this, so you can also undo that particular step. But you see, this work is not well done here. That's the problem with setting up Excel. But when you come to look at it, you just want to freeze the top row and you keep on the top row. You see a black line just showed, so it is just keeping it constant. So no matter what you are doing, you know where you are headed. As if you have not done that, once you click up, let's reduce it a bit again. Once you just roll up, it does not undo. Let's see. Okay, this is by setting. That is why it's there. If not by setting, if you are to just pick a new work and pick a new work, I don't know why it was not showing, but let me pick another new work and see how it will react with this. Just like this one that we have here, and I push it up, you see that it has covered it because it is not yet formatted. So assuming you have a lot of row, the same thing will apply. So if for instance you now come here under view and you go to freeze pan and you freeze the first row here, so even as you are moving it will not be affected. But once you have gone to that formatting, everything will be added. That is why it is not moving. But if you have not done that, it will not move. And you want to freeze your column, you see, assuming I decided to write F here and I decided to shift this arrow, the F become constant. The F become constant because I freeze that pan and I can come back to remove that particular step which I have taken. So it is quite possible. So for view 2, I can decide to split my work or hide it. I can split my work. So how do we split the work? You can put a cursor there, say divide the window into different panes that each scroll separately. So you can have two scroll that scroll separately. So let's see, how do we do that? First of all, just click on it and see what happens. See it, because the cursor is there. Now this thing has duplicated into two, and I take back one step backward, reduce the pen size. So I can remove this. So it's telling me that from the point where I can, if it's being problematic, you just um, so can let's use this and see again. Under view and split. So where the splitting is mostly effective is on the top. That's splitted for us for state type and the date type. Can do so the work are splitted into two half. So you don't want it again, you come here and click on the split again. It will bring you back to where it was, and that is it. So you can view side by side too. How do you view two by side by side? Click on it. You have two views here. One is viewing coffee and one is viewing the other sheet, depending on what you are doing. So another thing again is say synchronizing the scroll. So if you synchronize the scroll, as you are scrolling up, all of them are scrolling together. And then so you can also see if you can go through this. Before you go to reset window, or just come back again and remove the view side by side. So you can always go back through the same place where you came up from. So you can also switch window. For instance, when you look at the window, we have sample superstore, we have CDC practice. So if you are working now, it is on sample superstore. I can come here and work on CD practice, and I can go back again and switch the window back to sample superstore. So for okay, I don't want this now. I wanted to see the sheet. It's okay. So we can close this. Okay. So for the next thing is macros. Macros is another important aspect where we are going to take our time to teach on the usage of macros, and we'll give very good examples, and you see it's an exciting kind of advanced utilization of Excel, where you can record your steps and use it for works that are routine or that are repetitive in nature. So you can view your macros and do other things. You can even do relative referencing from here. So this is all what you can see under view. So for developer, we come to the use of the macros proper, and also teach you on how to use Visual Basics when you want to do analysis. It's an important aspect that you will not want to miss. Many companies are looking for people that knows how to use Visual Basics to run their operations. So it is very, very good that you know that. So you have your add-ins, you have your commercial add-ins from there. You have your insert. This is basically for your Visual Basics, and you look at the property view code amongst others. So for help, when you are confused about what, you can seek your help here. If you're on internet, you can contact support, and you can also see your feedback from there. So this inquiry is an addition. You can see workbook analysis, relationships among um, data. Most times, like in data visualization, it is that relationship among data that helps us to give powerful visuals that explain things that naked eyes cannot see. So we can see how to work the relationship out. Some of them can be one-to-one relationship, some can be one to many, some can be many to one, and some can be many to many. So we can look at the SS relationship, then we can compare file, clean SS cell formatting amongst others. You can see that under inquiry. Then for Power Pivot, this is another very powerful teaching analytics that we are going to do. Very powerful. This is where Excel is placed on the same pedestrian, even on a higher pedestrian, with powerful visualization tools like Tableau and Power BI. So we're going to take our time to teach you about data modeling, the calculation involved, and how to exert or determine relationships. Then for this new tab is just empty, there's nothing there, just put it up there. So this table design and query comes up when you touch on Power Query. That is where this table design and query comes up. This is a functionality that work with Power Query. So under Power Query, you can see that we see that we have other things there. This one is our coffee data, even though it is served as Superstore, but it's a coffee data. And then we can resize it, we can summarize with pivot table, we can remove duplicate and convert to range, we can do a lot of things with it, header row and the rest. Up to this point, even the query, we can use this query editor to do some things. So these ones are better done than explained, but they are there for you to view. So like I taught you, you don't want to see this new tab, just come to your file, go to your more, go to option, go to customize ribbon, come here at new tab, click it out and put OK. And when you go back, you see that the new tab is removed. So this is as simple as ABC. So we'll come back to our home. So with this, we have been able to look critically at what we mean by in bringing you to Excel or introducing you to Excel. Now we have touched on all the functionalities, the ribbons, and what Excel can do. The next thing is for us to begin to engage this Excel properly for analysis and for understanding. So in our next class, we are going to do just that. We may employ the use of this coffee data, or we'll go to sample super data or any other data of our choice, and we'll begin to explore. So I hope you have enjoyed the class. It took more time because we have a lot of things. We did not even conclude on some things, like on this our border and the rest. We have not touched more on it. We are going to do that in our subsequent class. So I'll be leaving your space now. We're meeting in our day 2. Thank you very much for taking your time to watch. Please watch this video over and over again, and may the knowledge be with you. Bye bye for now.
In today's world, data is the new gold. Data scientists unlock insights from raw information. They use statistical methods to analyze trends. Data analysts convert data into visual stories. By creating dashboards, they help organizations make informed decisions. Machine learning models can predict future outcomes. They identify patterns that aren't visible to the naked eye. Data cleaning ensures accuracy in analysis. Collaboration across departments enhances data insights. They utilize programming languages like Python and R for analysis. Cloud computing resources expand their capabilities. With big data, they tackle complex challenges across industries. Ethics in data science ensures responsible use of information. The future of data science looks bright with endless possibilities.